The trap in the fruit bowl of Americans after 60. Have you ever looked at your morning fruit bowl and thought, I'm doing something wonderful for my health? I did. Every morning I'd put a few bananas, a slice of watermelon, and sometimes a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice on the table. I believed I was nourishing my heart, my skin, and my memory. But then, one day, my doctor in Dallas said something that shocked me. After age 60, your fruit bowl may be killing you faster than a can of soda. I thought he was joking. But then he brought up research. Older adults who ate the wrong kinds of fruit had a 30% higher risk of visceral fat, a 90% higher risk of dementia, and even heart failure years earlier. It was the biggest shock of my life. For years, I thought fruit was a natural miracle drug. But the truth is, not all of it is good, especially after 60. At this age, our bodies no longer process sugar the way they did in our 20s and 30s. The natural sugars in fruit, which we once considered harmless, are now a trigger for inflammation, belly fat, and brain fog. And the worst part, we don't even realize it. A neighbor of mine, Carol, 72, who lives in Florida, used to start her day with a bowl of sweet watermelon and a glass of orange juice. She believed it was the perfect Florida breakfast. But after a few years, her memory began to decline, and her doctor diagnosed her with pre-Alzheimer's disease. When they analyzed her diet, they found that she consumed more sugar from healthy fruit than from soda. So, what's the truth? There are fruits you absolutely should not touch after 60, even though you have believed them all your life. But there are also other types, rarely mentioned, that can restore memory, soothe arthritis, increase resistance, and prolong life. In this video, I will tell you about both. 4 fruits must eat, the saviors against aging. 4 fruits must stay away from, the hidden sweet killers. And you will be surprised to see that the #1 fruit to eat has been proven in clinical trials. After just 12 weeks, people over 60 increased their cognitive speed by 34%. Before we start, I want to ask, there are fruits you absolutely should not touch after 60, even though you have believed them all your life. But there are also other types, rarely mentioned, that can restore memory, soothe arthritis, increase resistance, and prolong life. In this video, I will tell you about both. 4 fruits must eat, the saviors against aging. 4 fruits must stay away from, the hidden sweet killers. And you will be surprised to see that the #1 fruit to eat has been proven in clinical trials. After just 12 weeks, people over 60 increased their cognitive speed by 34%. Before we start, I want to ask, in your daily fruit bowl, is there any type that you eat without ever thinking that it could be harmful to your health? Comment below, because your answer could be the same as thousands of Americans out there. Okay, let's start with the good news. Here are 4 fruits you must eat after 60, ranked from good to absolutely life-changing. Fruit to eat number 4. Papaya, friend of the digestive and immune system. Many Americans may not be familiar with papaya, but if you've ever been to Hawaii or Florida, you'll see this tropical fruit often in local markets. People often think it's exotic, not popular. But I'll be honest, after 60, papaya is a secret weapon for digestion, immunity, and inflammation. I remember the first time I tried papaya was when I visited a former Marine friend in Honolulu. He was 5 years older than me and had suffered from bloating, indigestion, and chronic constipation. A local doctor advised him to eat papaya every morning. At first, he sneered, "It's just fruit. How can it cure anything?" But after only a month, he called me. "Listen, I haven't felt this light in my stomach in 10 years. You have to try it." The reason papaya is so effective is because of a special enzyme called papain. This is the protein decoding worker in your stomach. After the age of 60, stomach acid decreases, making it difficult to digest meat, fish, and beans. Papain helps break down proteins into small amino acids, making them easier for the body to absorb. Thanks to that, we maintain muscle mass, prevent osteoporosis, and avoid the thin but pot-bellied condition that many elderly people experience. Not only that, papaya is also rich in vitamin C, beta-carotene, and flavonoids, antioxidants that lower inflammation and reduce oxidative stress. A study in oxidative medicine and cellular longevity found that older adults who ate antioxidant-rich fruits like papaya every day had 33% lower inflammation levels, measured by CRP. That's a pretty impressive number, since inflammation is the mother of nearly every disease of aging. Arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's. A little-known fact, the black seeds in papaya are edible. I once saw a friend in Miami, a retired nurse, grind some papaya seeds into a smoothie. The seeds have a slightly spicy taste, like black pepper, but they contain compounds that can reduce intestinal inflammation, kill parasites, and support the liver. Early research suggests they even help balance the gut microbiome, a key factor in immunity and mood. I told this story to another friend, Robert, a 70-year-old former steel mill worker in Ohio. He often suffered from constipation and knee pain. After adding papaya to his breakfast for just 1 month, he said, "I no longer need laxatives and my knee is much less swollen." So papaya is more than just a fruit. It's a natural, soothing, healing tool, but extremely effective. If you are over 60 and still struggling with digestion, papaya is the loyal friend you need. Fruit to eat number 3. Blueberries, green bullet to protect memory. Now, let's come to the small but powerful fruit. Blueberries. I know every American has heard about the benefits of blueberries, but trust me, you never know the full power of it, especially for the brain after 60. Let me tell you about Mary, 66 years old, in Massachusetts. She used to be an elementary school teacher. After retiring, she began to see her memory, sometimes forgetting the names of her former students, or forgetting the keys right on the table. She was scared because her mother had Alzheimer's. Then her daughter bought her a big bag of frozen blueberries and said, "Mom, eat them every day. I read research that says they help the brain." She did. After 3 months, Mary said, "I wouldn't say I'm smarter, but I do feel more alert. I remember books better. I even do crossword puzzles faster than before." Science confirms this. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people over 65 who ate a cup of blueberries every day for 12 weeks had a 28% improvement in memory and concentration. Researchers also measured increased blood flow in the brain region involved in decision-making and memory. What's the magic? Blueberries contain anthocyanins, blue-violet pigments that are powerful antioxidant shields. They cross the blood-brain barrier, go straight to neurons, fight oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, and help neurons connect more strongly. I once compared blueberries to blue bullets that shoot straight at the root of brain aging. And the great thing is, it doesn't take long to see the effect. Just a few weeks of regular eating, you can feel your mind is clearer, your mood is more stable. Not only the brain, blueberries also lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and protect the eyes from macular degeneration, the leading cause of blindness in the elderly. One thing to note, eat fresh or frozen whole fruits. Do not abuse juice or jam, because when processed, the amount of sugar increases and the fiber decreases. The benefits for the brain are greatly reduced. My friend in Texas, a former truck driver, used to eating fast food. after switching to eating half a cup of blueberries every day, said, "I feel like my brain has been oiled. Driving, calculating the route, everything is clearer." That is the power of blueberries. Small but brings clarity, something that after the age of 60 we cherish more than gold. Kiwi, tiny but mighty fruit. Have you ever held a kiwi in your hand? The brown furry skin on the outside may not look appealing, but inside is a real treasure trove of nutrients. I remember the first time I saw a kiwi in the supermarket. I thought to myself, what fruit looks like a hairy potato? But when I cut it open, the green flesh and tiny seeds arranged in circles like a work of art really surprised me. And you know, kiwi contains 2 to 3 times more vitamin C than oranges. That's right. While for years we have been taught that oranges are the king of vitamin C, kiwis have quietly surpassed them. A study in the Journal of Nutritional Science showed that just 2 kiwis a day can raise the body's vitamin C level to almost the maximum, helping the immune system work more strongly. I have a friend, Mr. Mark, a former steel mill worker in Ohio. After retiring, he often suffered from minor colds, especially in the winter. His doctor advised him to try adding kiwi to his diet. At first, he laughed, thinking, what tiny fruit can beat a tonic? But just a few months later, he noticed that he had fewer minor illnesses, slept more soundly, and even less constipation. Yes, kiwi also contains actinidin, an enzyme that helps digest protein, reducing the uncomfortable feeling of bloating after meals. Many Americans often complain, "I'm getting old, my stomach is weak, everything is hard to digest." But just adding kiwi will make your stomach feel lighter. And I want to ask you, if there was a small fruit that could help you sleep well and digest easily, would you be willing to try it tonight? Leave a comment to let me know. Pomegranate. Pomegranate as red as a pearl. Now let's move on to a fruit that our ancestors have praised for thousands of years. Pomegranate. Not every state in the United States grows pomegranates, but you can easily find fresh pomegranate juice or seeds in your supermarket. Ancient Greek legend called pomegranates the fruit of life and rebirth. And today, modern science proves that's true. Pomegranate juice contains polyphenols, antioxidants that are 3 times more powerful than red wine or green tea. You heard that right. 3 times. I remember my cousin in Florida, Susan, who was in her 60s but always full of energy. Her secret is to drink a small glass of pomegranate juice every morning. She said, "It's like a recharge for my heart." And in fact, a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that drinking pomegranate juice every day can significantly reduce atherosclerosis, improve blood circulation, and even lower blood pressure. Another interesting fact, pomegranates also aid memory. An experiment showed that older adults who drank pomegranate juice every day for 4 weeks improved their learning and memory skills, compared to a group that didn't drink it. This made me think of those afternoons I spent with my neighbor, Bill, a former teacher in Texas who often forgot the names of his former students. If he had added pomegranates to his diet, the memories would have flowed much more smoothly. But have you noticed something? Splitting a pomegranate is usually quite a hassle, the seeds flying everywhere. So many people skip it. But if you know how, like cutting the fruit in half, turning it upside down and tapping the skin with a spoon, the seeds will fall out like sparkling red gems. And I have to ask you, are you willing to spend a few minutes of your time in exchange for a healthy heart and a good memory? Banana, the sweet traitor. Now let's get into the controversial part. Fruits you should consider avoiding or limiting. And first up is bananas. Sounds strange, right? Because bananas have long been considered a healthy, easy-to-eat food, and are even recommended by doctors after a stomach ache. But the truth is, bananas contain quite a lot of sugar and starch. An average ripe banana has 14 grams of sugar and a glycemic index, GI, ranging from 51 to 62, depending on the ripeness. This means that if you eat 2 to 3 bananas at a time, your blood sugar will increase quite quickly. For young people, the body can handle it well. But for older people, especially those who have signs of prediabetes, this is like adding fuel to the fire. I remember Mrs. Martha, an acquaintance at church, this year 67 years old. She often ate bananas for breakfast because she thought it was healthy. But then she discovered that her blood sugar was always abnormally high. After the doctor analyzed, she realized that the culprit was her daily banana eating habit. Research published in Diabetes Care also highlights that although bananas provide potassium and fiber, when eaten in large quantities, they can contribute to increased blood sugar and weight gain. Not to mention, eating bananas on an empty stomach can sometimes increase stomach acid, causing discomfort. I'm not saying you have to cut out bananas completely, but think about it. If you're trying to control your blood sugar or lose weight, is it worth it to choose a fruit that causes your glycemic index to skyrocket? Pineapple. The bitter truth behind the sweetness. Next up is pineapple, a tropical fruit that many Americans absolutely love. Pineapple has a sweet, aromatic taste and contains a special enzyme called bromelain that helps fight inflammation. Sounds great, right? But here's the little-known part. Pineapple is also incredibly high in sugar. A cup of fresh pineapple has nearly 16 grams of sugar. The glycemic index of pineapple is quite high, around 66, which makes it easy to spike blood sugar levels quickly. I once traveled to Hawaii, where pineapples are grown in abundance. The locals often make desserts, cocktails, and even pizzas with pineapple. But a doctor there told me, Americans from the mainland fly here for vacation, eat pineapple all day, and then come back complaining about high blood sugar. They forget that pineapple is delicious, but you can't eat as much as you want. Another point, eating too much pineapple can erode tooth enamel due to its high acidity. I once heard my friend Carol in California complain that her teeth became more sensitive after eating pineapple every day instead of sweets. Her dentist explained that it was the acid and sugar in the pineapple that eroded her enamel. So the question is, do you want a sweet but treacherous fruit that harms your teeth and blood sugar to become your daily habit? Mid-journey climax. Up to this point, we have gone through 4 types of fruit. Kiwi and pomegranate, the warriors that protect your health, and banana and pineapple, the sweet ones that can be hidden dangers. What makes me curious is, many Americans choose fruit based on old habits or favorite flavors, but rarely think about the long-term impact on health. We eat bananas for convenience, eat pineapples for sweetness, forgetting that health after 50 to 60 years old is very different from when we were in our 20s. I want you to imagine, if each fruit choice today was a brick that built a wall of your health for the next 10 years, would you choose a strong brick or a fragile brick? Fruits to avoid: watermelon. I know, when it comes to watermelon, many people will immediately object. Oh, I've eaten watermelon all my life. How can you say it's bad? Trust me, I used to be like that too. In Texas, every summer, my neighbors and I would get together for a BBQ and eat watermelon. The kids would grin, their faces red from the watermelon juice. As for us adults, we found it cool, sweet, and thirst-quenching. But here's the thing. How sweet is watermelon? If you have diabetes, or are controlling your blood sugar, watermelon is a sugar bomb. The glycemic index of watermelon is up to 72, which is extremely high. That means that just a few bites can send your blood sugar levels skyrocketing. A friend of mine, Mr. Henry, a 65-year-old former railway worker, once said, "Every time I eat watermelon at night, My blood sugar level the next morning is sky high. But I don't dare believe it until the doctor explains it. Many studies have also shown that although watermelon contains lycopene, good for the heart, the amount of sugar and the rapid absorption rate overwhelms that benefit, especially for people over 50 years old. In short, if you are healthy, exercise a lot, and occasionally eat watermelon in the summer, it is okay. But if you are over 40 to 50, worried about diabetes, heart disease, or weight, limit watermelon. Don't let the sweetness fool you. Fruit to avoid: orange juice. Now let me touch on another sensitive issue. Orange juice. We Americans grew up with the image of the ideal breakfast, consisting of eggs, toast, and a glass of orange juice. Advertising from the 1960s and 1970s burned that into the nation's consciousness. But did you know that glass of orange juice is sometimes worse than a can of soda? Why? A fresh orange has fiber, which helps slow down the absorption of sugar. But when juiced, all the fiber is gone, leaving only liquid fructose that is super fast absorbing. A 12-ounce glass of orange juice contains 30 grams of sugar, that's nearly 8 teaspoons. My aunt in Florida, where oranges are as plentiful as sand, was warned by her doctor. If you drink orange juice instead of water, it's like drinking soda every day. After she lost the sugar, her blood sugar and weight stabilized. What's more worrying is that many canned orange juices in supermarkets are loaded with added sugar and preservatives, making them even more alien to the natural orange we think of. In short, eating a fresh orange is still good. But don't let yourself think that drinking orange juice every morning is healthy. For older people, it can be the fastest way to gain weight, diabetes, and fatigue. Conclusion. Message to the audience. So we have come a long way together. 4 types of fruit you should eat to increase collagen, protect your heart, improve your skin, and keep your old age full of vitality. 4 types of fruit you should avoid or limit because they are sweet on the outside, but have hidden dangers to your long-term health. I want you to stop for a moment and ask yourself, of these fruits, which one do you eat the most? Have you ever had the same experience as Mr. Henry in Texas or my aunt in Florida, eating something that seemed good but turned out to be bad? Share your story in the comments. I really want to hear. And who knows, your story might help someone else change their habits and avoid illness. Finally, I would like to emphasize, knowledge is only valuable when we act. Tomorrow, when you go to the supermarket, remember today's conversation. Choose papaya instead of orange juice. Pick up a pomegranate instead of an overripe watermelon. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell, so you don't miss out on real, familiar, yet surprising health stories like this. And I promise, in the next video, I will share another secret. A simple food that can reduce joint pain, sleep well, and stay younger than you think. You don't want to miss it.